Dude, I'm reading through this second part of frickin' Veil of Invisibility about Tesla and George H. Scherf, and Otto Skorzeny gives up all of their secret dumbs, their deep underground military bases and all their military bases and stuff. Bro, he starts talking about this place. What is it called? Going to the Sun Road in Glacier National Park, and there's a secret mountain base. Dude, look at this. It says, this is a secret door into the mountain, and it's on a remote control that you can hit a button, and then a big old door opens up, and this dude up here, this is a covert, like seal or something, and they're all over here. So if anyone messes with this, they pop out and they're like, hey, hey, hey. But bro, I'm looking at this and it says, yeah, going to the Sun Road. Okay, so I say, what the frick? Let's go to going to the Sun Road, right? Here it is. Look, there it is. Look, look, look. It's the road, so I start following it, right? I'm like, okay, so it's got to go to a mountain, right? Where's the mountain? Oh, here's a mountain. So I'm looking at this. Brother, do you see what I see? Are you seeing a little Antarctica action here? You seeing this patch? You guys seeing this patch? This nice big square patch? On Google Maps? Yeah, I'm seeing it too. So what the frick do we think this is? Well, I'm going to go based on the document. Apparently, this is where all of the Fourth Reich's Nazi treasure is. All the treasure that they stole from all the Jewish people that they killed. Look, they hide it in America because the Fourth Reich moved here. And look, Google Earth is telling on it. See? See the patch? You don't believe me? Let's go look at Antarctica real quick. Yeah, you don't believe me? Okay. Here. That's not Antarctica, that's Greenland. There we go. What the frick is that? Oh, don't worry. This is just where Peter Thiel hangs out all day. In this patch. In this blob. That doesn't actually look like this because Google Maps is lazy. Or someone's trying to tell us something, So anyway, yeah, I think it's funny. It's funny that there's like this line here from here to here. What is that? What could that be? That couldn't be a Tesla howitzer, right? I'll be pissed if I find out it is. Anyway, going to the Sun Road. Isn't that cool? Let's go back. Wee! Bye, Earth's beehole. All right. Okay, we're back at our patch. We're back at our secret Nancy mountain base. Oh my goodness. Okay, so okay, that's what the mountain looks like, right? Now I'm trying to see if this mountain matches this. Is this the same? Oh, look at this lake. Frick, how do I spin on frickin' Google Earth? Dude, is this the same lake? I think this is what they're pointing at, right? Okay, so the flat part needs to be on the right. Hold on. Okay, dude, I realized how to turn. Bro, oh my god, I'm saying that's the same lake. Okay, it is. Look. Look at this. Okay, so it's right here. Wait. Oh my god, this is so cool. Okay, so the lake is right here. Let's put it just like that, okay? So off of this mountain ridge, right here, it's right there. Yes. And it's in the patch. Look, it's right here. Oh my goodness. This is awesome. Okay, well, we got him. We got him, boys. There it is. That is where the Nancy Gold is. The hunt for the Nancy Gold. Dude, me, Dante, and Nicole are going straight to Glacier National Park after we defeat Peter Thiel. Think I'm playing. Think I'm frickin' playing, dog. Look at this. The Veil of Invisibility. Buddy. God damn it, you rat. All right, boys. According to private meetings, former SS Nazi agent and subsequent lifelong CIA agent Adolf Hitler was amazed and fascinated with Dr. Nikola Tesla when he made the cover of Time magazine in 1931. Hitler was considered Nikola Tesla to be the incarnation of the almighty white, Aryan mythical Übermensch. Das Überman. Superman. Hitler was curious about rumors alleging that Tesla had an extremely large penis and that he had psychic powers. Adolf, being the childish, sadistic egomaniac that he was, enjoyed most cartoons and comedians of the era, especially the Three Stooges and Max Fleischer cartoons, Popeye, and Tesla vs. the Nancies. Hitler and Skorzeny Skorzeny were not graced by brilliance, however, they fully recognized the genius of Nikola Tesla. Rumors had been spreading that Nikola Tesla had created a death ray, an anti-gravitic flying disc, an earthquake machine, weather modification machines, and plasma-based optical invisibility technology. Schmittler quickly became intent on their theft and obfuscation from public awareness. His righteousness and arrogance directed his obsessive thinking, planning with his elite youth corps of SS Nancy's special agents. Schmittler implored, "I must have those inventions so I can take over the world. Ja, das Übermensch ist me." In 1938, Schmittler initiated long-term plans for sending young SS Nancy spy to America through the Hamburg America ship line, supervised by George H. Scherf Sr., his papa, who had in previous years been working simultaneously as financial handler of Nikola Tesla and for the Rockefeller-owned Union Sulphur Company. So yeah, you guys know how when people escort and stuff, they don't actually have control of their money. They have a financial handler. And also all of the celebrities and all these other Mossad agents that are controlled by Mossad agents, they don't really have control over their money either. They're all being handled by handlers who are Nancy's. Mossad is Nancy. The Mossad is CIA. The CIA is Third Reich Germany. Isn't that curious? Isn't that interesting? Don't we all find that a very interesting and curious fact? Hitler's deceptive planning involved key American industrialists at every stage to ensure the effectiveness of the Scherf-Bush double identity facade by entrenching a corrupt network of high-ranking U.S. government officials. Photographs of the Bush family prior to World War II are rarely available to the public, and I have found that out firsthand, my very self. Yes, I have. Photographs of one of the earliest is presented below, the group posing on arrival at the Midland, Texas airstrip in 1950. This is, from left to right, our mother, Barbara Pierce Bush, son, George Walker Bush, this is W, father, George Herbert Walker Bush, that's the spy, George Scherf. Look at his cute little boots, isn't that sweet? He was already in the Red Shoe Club. Then we got frickin' grandmother Dorothy Walker Bush and grandfather Prescott Sheldon Bush. By embedding themselves among the dynastic American industrialist families of Samuel P. Bush, the Scherf family effectively enshrouded themselves in American mythology, while all extant records of their existence had been completely expunged in Schmittler's Germany. The careful manipulation of public records and well-orchestrated propaganda, included publishing myriad false histories, would be required to effectively infiltrate the power positions of the U.S. government. Yet, census records for the Bush family show inconsistencies that belie false identities and birth information. Otto Skorzeny revealed that 3 American Nancys founded the IRS in 1933 as a private Delaware corporation for Nancy military fundraising. And boy, is that true. We do know that's true. Skorzeny contended that the vast amount of American tax revenues generated by the IRS went directly into generating the Nancy war buildup from its very inception. The bagman who took the money to Germany was George H. Scherf Sr., alias Prescott Bush, CEO of Brown Brothers Harriman. The IRS is not part of the Bureau of Internal Revenue. Paying income tax to the IRS is not mandatory but voluntary and based on the threat of an audit and financial investigations. Being the front man for the primary covert finance operation of the Nancy regime, George Scherf Sr. was indeed the most valuable secret asset of the Third Reich, who would work diligently for his entire life to bring about the rise of the Fourth Reich in America. And he did it! Congrats, George, you did it! This is just incredible. Skorzeny presented his copy of the remarkable color print enhanced below, a large group photo of Schmittler's elite youth espionage ring at the Scherf family home from 1938. Pointing himself out in the far right, that's him. And in front of him is Dorothy Walker Bush. In front of Walter Routh is Dorothy Walker Bush, wife of George H. Scherf Sr., alias Prescott Bush. Scherf Sr. himself may have taken this photograph of his family and friends at their Dulwich, Germany home with his wife, son, and mother at the left, including Bormann's hand, all of the males being close-knit young espionage group members. You know who this is? This is Joseph Mengele. Martin Bormann is right here. George Scherf Jr. is this one. Look at him. You can see the bush in him. But yeah, that's freaking Mengele, dude. Isn't that crazy? Yeah. So... great. Schmittler's elite espionage ring would only expand in world influence and power after the illusory conclusion of World War II that was actually an exit strategy and mass transfer operation from Nazi Germany to the United States. Gillen would later become the director of intelligence at the German DVD, and Scherf Jr. would later become the director of central intelligence for the American espionage apparatus using the alias George Herbert Walker Bush. The network of covert Nazi assets among the elite American industrialists influenced the vast reformation of U.S. government institutions signed into law by President Truman, forming the CIA and drafting the National Security Act of 1947. Does it make so much sense now why JFK did not have control of the CIA? It's because they were German Nazis from the jump. From the start. Mossad was, the CIA was, all of them. These duped ass idiots in the 50s and 40s, they let a little boy who talks like this, oh yeah, my name is George Scherf Jr. Edelweiss, and no one questioned anything. No one had ever seen Prescott Bush before, and they were like, oh yeah, he's the guy with the German accent. Yeah, he's no, I'm pretty sure they got rid of the accents, but you know what I mean? They just slipped him in, no one asked questions, and now we are literally the Fourth Reich. Isn't that horrible? That sucks. To me, I think that sucks. Several years prior, the new U.S. government offices were created to support the revenue gathering of the Nazi IRS, coordinating the extensive multi-layered German infiltration. A new branch of the government called the OSS, whose job was to spy on the Nazis. Hitler now had an entire branch of the U.S. government at his disposal. Schmittler trained and in 1938 sent young 14-year-old SS Nazi agent George H. Scherf Jr. to befriend Nikola Tesla and steal his inventions for the Third Reich. The young Scherf could not befriend Tesla but relied on covert surveillance of the scientist's activities. George informed Schmittler of Tesla's new invention that could render an entire battleship or aircraft invisible, both to the human eye and to radar surveillance. As a deep mole in the OSS, young Agent Scherf later informed Schmittler of the U.S. Navy's secretly planned Tesla War Plasma Mirage experiment on the Delaware River. And boy, guess what? We're going to talk about the frickin' real Philadelphia experiment for a second. With Tesla's direct supervision in 1941, the Navy destroyer USS Eldridge was wrapped with thousands of feet of cable made from whole copper pennies bound together, the only reason for the copper penny shortage in America, linked to several high-frequency generators, and several of Tesla's other patented inventions include Tesla's rotating field amplifier. The U.S. Navy had many Nazi sympathizers, including George Scherf Jr., who tipped off Schmittler to this experiment, commonly referred to as the Philadelphia Experiment, or Operation Rainbow Project. Agents Otto Skorzeny and Richard Galen were selected to spy on this project. They made it to the United States in a German U-boat. When they arrived on shore, they put on U.S. Navy officers' uniforms to infiltrate the Navy shipyards, from which the experimental vessel was intended to sail into the river invisibly using strong EM fields. They had fake identification with a little bit of persuasive talking and help from U.S. Navy Nazi sympathizer George H.W. Bush and John G. Trump. They both easily made it onto the Philadelphia Naval Yard base to an empty ship with no name that was being overhauled right next to where the USS Eldridge was berthed. From their obscure vantage point, they began a clear view of what was taking place. The Eldridge sailed out into the Delaware River and began to plow a bright greenish color at first, then a little yellow. Finally, it looked very blurry, like a heat mirage or gasoline evaporating, and then it almost vanished completely from our sight. However, we were able to see the large wake it was leaving behind it as it sailed south down the river. We could see it fade in and out several times until it was too far away. About 6 hours later, the Eldridge returned to the Philadelphia Naval Yard in a state of complete pandemonium. We heard men screaming and complaining that they felt as if they were on fire. Someone mentioned that he could not believe that they made it all the way to Norfolk, Virginia Naval Base and back in only a few hours. At this point, we knew that Tesla had invented and was very close to perfecting the ultimate weapon of war, optical invisibility. Schmittler was very pleased. The Navy wanted Tesla to help them out to try a new, more powerful high-frequency generator to increase the electromagnetic illusion of invisibility. Tesla refused to help the Navy a second time because the first Project Rainbow invisibility experiment had hurt so many of the guinea pig crew who were topside during the experiment. The sailors below decks were not as affected. Their brains were debilitated by radiation. Most of these survivors had minor brain damage and spent a long time at the Philadelphia Naval Yard Psychiatric Hospital. If the sailors ever remembered what had happened to them during their experiment, their allegations were immediately dismissed as crazy talk. The U.S. Navy used fear and intimidation to silence the witnesses and unwitting participants of the experiment by threat of canceled pensions, treason indictments, and ultimately death. Go figure, guys. Bush eavesdropped on several negotiations between Tesla and the Navy regarding his supervision of a second experiment aboard the USS Eldridge. After several refusals from Tesla, the Navy contacted Albert Einstein, Marconi, Townsend Brown, Dr. John G. Trump, and a few less-known scientists to attempt another invisibility experiment. Einstein flatly announced to the entire group, Nikola Tesla's theories of magnetic resonance and optical invisibility are beyond my grasp. Skorzeny and Gillen were informed by Scherf Jr. of the location of the next invisibility experiment and were able to orchestrate more help from Nancy sympathizers in the U.S. Navy. Pretending to be scientists, Dr. Reinhardt and Dr. Franklin Reno, the two men easily bluffed their way into the Philadelphia Naval Yard and the USS Eldridge. Gillen and Skorzeny would try to steal the main electrical component of the experiment, Tesla's rotating field amplifiers. The RFAs were small black boxes with ventilation holes that weighed about 50 pounds each. Several high-frequency generators were daisy-chained together to the RFA, which amplified the electrical currents to extremely high voltages. These RFAs had to be connected and tuned to a certain resonant frequency that only Tesla knew. The U.S. Navy still had Tesla's equipment, but this time they were forced to work without Tesla's knowledgeable supervision and fine-tuning of the rotating EM fields into the correct frequency for the experiment to be conducted effectively and safely. The second invisibility experiment of the USS Eldridge. All the equipment was reinstalled on the Eldridge while the RFA was instead connected to the ship by a long extension cord from the dock. There were two other RFAs standing by just in case the first one failed. The Eldridge did not leave port to conduct the experiment this time, and because Tesla would not supervise a second experiment nor fine-tune the generators, the experiment did not go as planned. The other scientists could not figure out how to properly hook up all the generators, nor could they figure out how to connect the fine-tune the RFA. They rigged it all together haphazardly and threw the power switch. Nothing happened. They turned up the power on the generators, and still nothing happened. Eventually, the scientists reconnected the wires in a different way. Finally, something did happen. The ship started to glow green a little bit, and then yellow, and finally it appeared to be vanishing in a giant heat mirage right before everyone's eyes. However, it did not vanish completely this time, as it had done during the first experiment. Dr. Trump allegedly yelled at Einstein and the other scientists to make the ship invisible. The scientists decided to turn on the generators to full capacity to see what would happen. The ship did in fact disappear from sight for a little while, so they continued to crank up the electricity. The unfortunate guinea pig crew members that were on the ship's deck began screaming in pain and running around like chickens with their heads cut off. Some jumped overboard to escape the excruciating pain of being burned alive. The scientists and fake Nancy doctors ignored their screams and continued with the experiment for at least 15 minutes. Dude, does it make sense now why everyone's a Nancy? No one knew at the time that Dr. Tesla had been secretly watching the experiment. Tesla sabotaged the experiment by chopping through the extension cord with an axe, and then he disappeared into the night. Tesla's heroic effort saved the lives of many crewmen. That is the only reason the experiment stopped when it did. This time, the crew on the top deck were no more than puddles of flesh and bone melted to the deck. Yes, they were. The crew members had their flesh and bones cooked from the inside like a giant microwave oven due to the intense heat of high-frequency magnetic fields that are not properly tuned during the second experiment. The flesh puddles, at first glance, looked like sailors had been fused into the deck. That was not the case. The marrow from inside their bones had been cooked and their bodies melted onto the decks. During the confusion of trying to shovel up and dispose of the unfortunate sailors, truly, that's what they were doing. They shoveled them overboard. Skorzeny and Gillen were able to grab all three of the rotating field amplifiers. Now the U.S. Navy did not have any RFAs left. The two Nancy thieves made their getaway without anyone suspecting a thing. This time, Skorzeny had been paid by the Russians to steal the RFA for them, which he did. Do you see how the Russians, the Germans, they all work together, apparently? Isn't that great? By stealing America's last RFAs, Nazi Germany had just unofficially won World War II. Thorn EMI Corporation of England and Raytheon Corporation provided the glass vacuum tubes and electronic equipment for the experiment. Raytheon was awarded patents for microwave ovens and magnetic MRI machines that were created as commercial applications of research derived from the horrific Philadelphia experiment. Various people have written books about the Philadelphia experiment on board the Eldridge at the time that the experiment never took place at all, or they claim to be involved in other U.S. Navy paranormal tests like the Montauk Project, Flying Saucers, Jacques Vallée, Carlos Allende, Al Bielek, Preston Nichols, Mac Sheldon and Bob Lazar are 6 of these people. When I asked Skorzeny about these 6 men, he laughed and told me that Al Bielek is allegedly a former Nancy and government stooge who works for the Pentagon. Valet, Allende, Bielek, Nichols, Preston Nichols. We already hopped off the Preston Nichols train because we realized he was just a P word, right? Shelton and Lazar are all allegedly CIA disinformation spreading bullshit artists. Brother, Bob Lazar, you're dead to us. Skorzeny emphatically stated if they really knew anything about Operation Rainbow Project or flying discs, I would have been ordered to kill them, as I did with Dr. Morris K. Jessup. Who the frick is that? Morris Ketchum Jessup, hell yeah, gotta catch 'em all. Was an American ufologist who had a master's degree in astronomy, and though employed for most of his life as an automobile parts salesman and a photographer, is best remembered for his writings on UFOs. Interesting. He attempted to make a living writing on the subject of UFOs, but his follow-up books did not sell well. I wonder why. Did the CIA have anything to do with that? Rejected several other manuscripts. In 1958, his wife left him and he traveled to New York City. His friends described him as being somewhat unstable. After returning to Florida, he was involved in a serious car accident. Weird. And was slow to recover, apparently increasing his despondency. On April 20th, 1959, in Dade County, Florida, Jessup's car was found along a roadside with Jessup dead inside. A hose had been run from the exhaust into a rear window of the vehicle, which had filled with toxic fumes. When turned on, the death was ruled a suicide. Friends said that he had been extremely depressed and had discussed suicide with them for several months. Jessup's death would get rolled into more conspiracy theories surrounding the Philadelphia experiment, with some believing that the circumstances of Jessup's apparent suicide were mysterious. The William L. Moore and Charles Berlitz book, The Philadelphia Experiment, Project Invisibility, put forward the conspiracy theory that his death was connected to knowledge of the Philadelphia experiment. Friends interviewed in the same book thought the bizarre letters from Carl Mildreth Allen may have initiated a decline in Jessup's mental state, leading to his eventual suicide. Carl Meredith Allen. Okay, Carl Meredith Allen was an American merchant mariner who claimed that during World War II he witnessed the Philadelphia experiment, a supposed paranormal event in the U.S. Navy made a ship invisible and accidentally teleported it through space. The story is widely understood to be a hoax perpetrated by Allen. No, it's not. In late 1955, an anonymous package arrived at the Office of Naval Research. It contained a copy of Morris K. Jessup's book, The Case for UFO Unidentified Flying Objects, that was filled with handwritten notes in its margins written with 3 different shades of blue ink, appearing to detail debate among 3 individuals. They discussed ideas about the propulsion for flying saucers, alien races, and expressed concern that Jessup was too close to discovering their technology. When Jessup was invited to the Office of Naval Research a year later and shown the annotated copy of his book, he noticed the handwriting of the annotations resembled a similar letter he received from Carl Allen, who also signed some of his letters Carlos Miguel Allende. Dude, in the letters to Jessup, Allen put forward a story of dangerous science based on unpublished theories by Albert Einstein, which had been put into practice at the Philadelphia Naval Shipyard in October 1943, but it was Tesla. Einstein was just there because Tesla wouldn't do it. Allen claimed to have witnessed the experiment while serving aboard the USS Andrew Forsyth. In Allen's account, a destroyer escort was successfully made invisible, but the ship inexplicably teleported to Norfolk, Virginia for several minutes and then reappeared in the Philadelphia yard. The ship's crew was supposed to have suffered various side effects. 12 years later, Allen would say that he authored all of the annotations in order to scare the hell out of Jessup. The Jessup book, with Allen's scribed commentaries, gained a life of its own when the Vero Manufacturing Corporation of Garland, Texas, who did contract work for ONR, began producing mimeographed copies of the book, and Allen's annotations with Allen's letters to Jessup, write a dozen and eventually 127, first a dozen and then eventually 127 copies. These copies became known as the Vero edition. This became the heart of the Philadelphia experiment books, documentaries, and movies to come. Over the years, various writers and researchers who tried to get more information from Carl Allen found his responses elusive or could not find him at all. Dude, the Vero edition, gotta look that up. Dude, so it appears as though we need to read this book because it is pretty spot on, apparently. Interesting. That's good to know. Great to know, actually. Okay. Dude, Bob Lazar being a Fed makes sense to me because, he never really gives anything up, right? And he's allowed to talk. As we've seen, if you have the truth, they do not want you to speak, right? I get 202 views on every TikTok video now. That's just where we're at. Isn't that fun? It's so funny. But dude, Bob Lazar being able to not being whacked the last few decades says a lot, right? Fuck you, Bob Lazar. And then guess what? Tesla's final day, he was trying to give the government all of his really great inventions, right? Delta wing, radar absorbing aircraft designs, a death ray earthquake machine, free energy devices, a cosmic light ray transmitter receiver, mind reading and controlling machines, etc. Anti-gravitic invisible flying disc. That sounds like a UFO, dude. And January 6th, Tesla received a knock on the door by two men claiming to be OSS officers. Their alleged names were Ralph Bergstresser and Blois Fitzgerald. They were singing Edelweiss because they were Otto Skorzeny and Reinhard Gehlen. One was tall and very skinny. The other was short and stocky. Tesla was very excited to see these men and offered them tea. Tesla spoke with these two government agents for more than an hour. He showed them his complete invention plans for his UFO, an aircraft earthquake machine, strange design for radar-avoiding aircraft, non-polluting free energy-driven cars, rocket ships for space travel, lasers, and first electronic computer. Electronic mind control, mind-reading devices with the death ray, or Tesla cannon that fired a plasma beam to disable enemy aircraft from up to 200 miles away, leaving no trace. The range of the weapon is only limited by the curvature of the Earth, as the plasma is beamed along a perfectly straight trajectory from the apparatus ray gun to its target. Tesla explained his inventions to the two agents, and the men stole all of his stuff, and they suffocated him. And it was Otto Skorzeny. While Tesla was standing in front of the door with his back turned, the smaller man held Tesla's arms at his side, while the taller man held a pillow in front of the frail 86-year-old Nikola Tesla's mouth and easily suffocated him to death. Because the foolish American government had forsaken Tesla, no one was there to protect and watch over him. Dr. Tesla had unknowingly given his best and greatest inventions to two USS Nancy's agents who had been pretending to be American OSS officials. The two Nancys were none other than Otto Skorzeny and Reinhard Gehlen. Isn't that great? After Skorzeny smothered Tesla, he and Gehlen broke into Tesla's safes and stole his last will and testament, Edison Medal of Honor, his Westinghouse contract worth trillions today, an earthquake machine patent model, and UFO water engine, another engine that needed no oil or gas, free energy devices, perpetual motion devices, death ray, electronic invisibility devices, mind control devices. And then look, Skorzeny claims his private collection included several love letters written to Tesla from Barbara Bush, probably trying to handle him. That's what they do. They send women at you. They send reporters at you who are interested in your story, all sorts of dumb shit. According to Skorzeny, Tesla's last will and testament, Edison Medal, and his Westinghouse contract were all kept in the Skull and Bones Lucky Sperm Club member clubhouse located at Yale, right next to Geronimo's skull. Prescott Bush grave robbed the skull from a sacred Apache burial ground for rituals. The clandestine meeting place for Rich Wasp New World Order Republican recruitment rituals is called the Tomb, for allegedly housing various stolen human bones, a coffin, and a wax dummy of Hitler. Dude, I hate these people. If anyone's at Yale, it's your duty and obligation to break into this place. Just saying. And get all this stuff and give it back. It's your duty. And then the next day, Tesla's friend, on January 7th, he went to go check on him. The door was open. He saw that he was dead with his pants down at his knees. And you know why? It's because frickin' Otto Skorzeny was told by Schmittler that he really wanted to know how big his wiener was. Because, again, all these people are fans. They're fans, and they don't know how to show their love and adoration without taking people out and ruining their lives. So anyway, Skorzeny claimed that he pulled Tesla's pants down to see if the rumors about his wiener size were true. He claims that the rumors about Tesla's large wiener were indeed true. Nice, Tesla. All of Tesla's belongings had been ransacked and pillaged. His windows were open and his safes were almost empty. His pigeons were flying around the room and walking on and around his body. Dude. Then they gave it all of his experiments and all of his inventions to Schmittler. And then guess what? Schmittler had all of the brightest Nazi scientists, which means they weren't too bright, along with Jewish scientist prisoners, attempt to decipher Tesla's complex blueprint. The Nazis had faked Thomas Edison's death years earlier to help them build weapons of mass destruction to use against America. Now the Nazis had Edison, Marconi, and other famous Nazi scientists working nonstop for 2 years trying to build Tesla's anti-gravity, invisible flying disc, and other stolen Tesla technologies. Look, for helping the Nazis, allegedly, Schmittler and Prescott Bush used their influence to bribe the U.S. patent examiners to give credit to Marconi for inventing the radio, even though he invented it with 17 of Tesla's prior patents. Later in 1943, it was determined that Tesla did in fact invent the radio, and credit was given back to him after his death. Oh my God. According to Skorzeny, the CIA's former SS Nazis, with help of the Brotherhood of Aryan Nations organized crime hate group, had been planning terrorist attacks on American citizens for more than 60 years, while the U.S. government always looked the other way, disregarded evidence, and pursued fake suspects. During the last 23 years, the Aryan Brotherhood of Nations, with help from former SS Nazi, CIA employees, and Ari Fleischer, systematically bought or stole every existing copy of Max Fleischer's Tesla vs. the Nazis cartoon in the United States. The CIA officially banned this cartoon video like most other Tesla-related subjects. Why? Because they want Tesla erased from the history books so they can continue with their plans to illegally create a new world order in America. Oh my God. And then this is where we started, boys. The secret underground Nancy base in Glacier National Park, Montana. Hidden high atop the mountainside along going to the Sun Road at more than 6,600 feet is the secret tunnel entrance to an extensive underground Nancy CIA facility in the above satellite image. The larger circle denotes the hidden rock facade entrance, and the smaller circle denotes the position of camouflage guards. Dude, you know we're putting this frickin' coordinate into Google Earth. Alright, boys, I got the coordinates set. Let's see where this takes us. Right where we were. There it is. Let's see. Do you guys think it's inside of the section that is a patch? Looks like it. Look at this little patch section. Isn't that cool? Look, you can see where all the secret bases are. I want to put my frickin' person down here. Wait, why can't I? What the frick? Let's see. Where's our picture? Dude, this is the exact spot. Oh my God. Oh my God. Brother, is this not the exact spot? Oh, brother. We got it, boys. Look. This is the... And then the this whole mountain is filled with Nancy stolen treasure. Dude. Oh, brother. We gotta take these Nancys down. Look at how big this complex is. There it is. The Nancy Gold is right there. We just got to break in. In the above satellite image, the larger circle denotes the hidden rock facade entrance, and the smaller circle denotes the position of camouflaged guards. Let's see if we can see the guards here. Right here? This is where the guards are? Dude, y'all are busted. You're so busted. We see this, Nancy. We see you, Nancys. I see you, you freaking Nancys. The secret tunnel descends more than 2 miles to a giant hollowed-out industrial complex below the mountain. This huge underground city base connects Montana to Canada, just north of the national border at the cleverly named International Peace Park. This underground base is where the CIA keeps its stolen Holocaust trillions. Brother, they are cooked. We got them. Their stolen Holocaust trillions and test its most secret New World Order black projects, including Tesla's flying disc, optically invisible aircraft, and other stolen Tesla technologies. Operations in the base include maintenance and deployment of stealth drones. And look, here's our little secret boy with his cool little secret door, but they use it to smuggle drugs. Dude, Glacier National Park was the first national park to have railroad access at the time, and a necessity for all large-scale underground military industrial construction. This enabled the CIA's NWO Nancys to transport the rumored Nancy Gold train of stolen Holocaust loot from Montauk, New York to the secret base located inside the mountain. On the promontory above the secret level entrance, there is a strange-looking outcropping of rocks that at certain times of the day looks like a grizzly bear, hence the name Grizzly Peak. Bro, is that this? This? Wait, it's probably from this way, right? Is it that? Does that look like a grizzly? Or is it this? The CIA uses a secret tunnel route to illegally smuggle drugs, guns, SS Nancy war criminals, and dignitaries into Canada without stopping at any border crossings because the archive surrender agreement of Nancy Germany has been forged. Canada has been hiding this and supporting CIA Nancy's just like America has been. Canada aligned itself with England, France, and Italy in forming the secret fascist agreement with Hitler's Nancy Germany, the results of which can be seen clearly in unified front of complete denial of the existence of extraterrestrials and spacecraft debris found. Secret tunnel entrance to the CIA's NWO underground base is hidden behind a remote-controlled, movable rock wall located in the south of the mountain on Going to the Sun Road, shown in Skorzeny's photograph above, just north of Grizzly Peak and the Weeping Wall. In the far background, the garden wall can be seen, and at far right is the base of Haystack Butte. Dude. The tunnel entrance shadowed overhang circled this can be seen at far right is the base of Haystack Butte. The tunnel entrance overshadowed overhang circled bottom right was cut out of the bedrock by precision laser to prevent any possible discovery. When the base is active during the summer months, there are armed and camouflaged guards hiding on the mountainside upper left corner right here surrounding the secret tunnel entrance. The New World Order keeps its stolen Holocaust trillions and stolen Tesla tech secretly hidden inside the hollowed-out mountain facility, providing access only to the NWO elite who have shared in the mass murder for profit war scams. And then, boom, there we are. We landed back where we started, right here at our secret base. Isn't that awesome for us? Dude, I'm freaking done with these Nancys. They're cooked. Where's freaking Canada? Where's Peace Park? Is this Canada? So yeah, look, this is their secret tunnel entrance into Canada, dude. It just goes up here to Peace Park. Where's Peace Park? Nope, that's wrong. International Peace Park. There it is. We got it. Glacier International Peace Park. Dude, okay. So it goes from here, right? Dude, this is cool. We got these guys cooked. They're dead to rights. That have a patch on it too. Skorzeny claims that there are many more secret CIA New World Order Nancy bases in national parks around the country, including the Grand Canyon. Well, don't we know that too? These planes are optically invisible and make no audible sound. The SR-71 et al. Are periodically brought into the secret underground hangars located in the hollowed-out mountain below Grizzly Peak on Going to the Sun Road. These levitating airplanes are slowly lowered into the waters by Lake MacDonald in Glacier National Park, seen above. The planes are capable of traveling underwater like submarines for short distances. Once the planes are submerged in Lake MacDonald, they travel to the underwater hangars inside the hollowed-out mountain. Once inside the hangars, the planes are serviced. There is a giant elevator inside the mountain that brings the planes up to a full-size hidden runway inside the mountain. During the night, when Going to the Sun Road is closed, a large camouflage section of the mountain is briefly opened for aircraft to exit the facility. Once the plane has left the mountain base, the secret runway bay doors are closed. Otto Skorzeny presented the photograph below, taken on August 27, 1997, describing the hidden stealth technologies active around Glacier Park's Lake MacDonald. Skorzeny pointed out the flat, square rock as being a hidden flat panel radar array, circled, one feature among several secret installations enabling covert surveillance of the sensitive airspace. He also asserts that the disc-shaped cloud, upper left, this is a plasma cloak stealth disc aircraft silently hovering above the CIA boat. What? Photos of cloud-enveloped discs are well known in UFO circles. The U.S. government claims the SR-71 Blackbirds in hangars are wet because they expand and shrink while flying, thereby causing condensation buildup. That line is disinformation. Stealth planes spray mists of water on themselves while flying to create the illusion of optical invisibility by interaction with the electrified aircraft shell. Water vapor is used by stealth planes to disguise the aircraft in a white-colored artificial cloud. When ignited, forms a plasma mirage envelope for complete optical cloaking. To use the words of Otto Skorzeny, the stealth planes are like flying ozone generators. This advanced application of HHO plasmas derived from water allows the planes to be lowered through the waters of Lake MacDonald or other lakes around the U.S. to secret underground CIA facilities. The extensive network of death ray satellites in far Earth orbit are not only capable of destroying aerial or space-based targets and sending power to levitating spy planes, but can manipulate weather and world events in myriad ways. The death ray satellites, part of President Reagan's publicized Star Wars program, are precisely coordinated with the High-Frequency Active Auroral Research Program, HAARP. HAARP antenna array located in Alaska for weather manipulation and mind control. When these lasers simultaneously aim their beams at a single point on Earth, the targeted area will then experience severe weather in the form of droughts, hurricanes, tornadoes, and earthquakes. Spontaneous human combustion occurs when these lasers are focused on the human body. Dude, we're getting all answers, boys. Every single answer ever we're getting. Spontaneous human combustion, of course it's the CIA. Dude, I hate these people. Well, I don't actually. I just really pity them, and I think they're disgusting, but they're sad people. Permanent ultra-low frequency mind control installations have been built beneath the Colorado's new Denver International Airport, while Masonic dedications and symbolism adorn the entire airport, with runways laid out in the pattern of a Nazi swastika clearly visible from the air. Oh my god, dude. Dude, the Denver airport has to go. Look at this. This is a swastika. Dude. Oh, fuck them. The subterranean facility below the airport has been constructed using giant wave contoured steel beams designed specifically for the purpose of manipulating human consciousness via infrasound. Dude, screw them. The output of standing waves from the Denver International Airport was of sufficient amplitude to be recorded by Doppler radar as concentric circles. On February 16, 2007, infrasound resonance at the DIA shattered 13 airplanes' windshield. Crucial facts rule out cold wind and flying debris as possible causes. No debris was seen by any pilots, and the various airplanes were damaged in the air, the DIA runway, and at the terminal gates, all during a narrow time frame. Look at this. Donuts on a rope contrails. See that? They're just spraying. Look, all these contrails. Dude, I know that they're putting shit in the air. It's cloudy every freaking day. This is not normal. These people are reckless. They're insane. They're literally dropping metal particulates and shit in the air. And it's because it enhances their freaking microwave generation on us or whatever. Dude, this is so freaking crazy. Barium and aluminum powders are dispersed to photoionize by exposure to solar UV rays. Plasmas then generated by superheating the airborne metals using energy beamed from HAARP or any of the Tesla ray satellites. Dude, Tesla would be so disgusted in all these rats. Invisible CIA surveillance drones from U.S. national parks. Look at this. Is this a Skorzeny picture? Bro, come on. Several modular variations of hovering drones with circular hubs and radial spines have been photographed as early as 1985 near Barksdale Air Force Base, Louisiana. Subsequent public photographs of the anti-gravitic drones also surfaced in Birmingham, Alabama, and areas of California in 2007, including Bakersfield, Big Basin, Capitola, Northridge, and Lake Tahoe. Just as the chemtrails invade all NATO countries, CIA surveillance drones have also been photographed in the UK, Netherlands, Italy, Argentina, and other NATO countries, where they patrol a great numbers. Dude, NATO is Nancy. NASA is Nancy. Oh my god. Look at this. What the frick? These usually invisible surveillance drones are deployed and remote controlled by operators in various secret underground Nancy CIA bases and U.S. national parks. easily collecting data on all activities off-grid. Fake alien scripts decorate the drones to disguise the craft. CIA origins in the event of partial malfunction or crash by misleading observers toward the conclusion that the odd craft is an alien visitor to Earth. We figured this. Temporary failure of the drone's EM-generated HHO plasma invisibility cloak allows it to be briefly seen by the public and photographed before vanishing only seconds later. Dude, this is cool. Screw these frickin' stupid feds. Dude, look at this. Malfunctioning drones have surprised eyewitness photographers over both rural and urban residential areas, suggesting that CIA video surveillance of American citizens has been a regular task of these invisible plasma-cloaked drones for many years, having been described in a few cases as hovering, slowly rotating and counter-rotating before rapidly flying away at low altitude. One would imagine that the drone's remote operator may not have known the plasma cloaking of the drone had failed until the individuals under surveillance stared upward. Several photographs have been taken showing the drones uncloaked near utility poles and power lines, suggesting that the drones resonantly recharge themselves from available electromagnetic fields surrounding elevated power lines before being able to regenerate the HHO plasma cloak and instantaneously disappear. Events of drone cloaking failure are on the rise with the intensifying electromagnetic planetary changes. Great. According to Skorzeny, the CIA covertly augmented natural caves by excavating vast chambers and interconnecting tunnels networks to create thousands of acres of hidden industrial space below ground at the expense of the American taxpayer. They used this space to manufacture the most high-grade marijuana, opium, cocaine, and hash in the world and house hundreds of methamphetamine and ecstasy laboratories. CIA narcotic products are trucked out of the subterranean installations in unmarked white trucks and transported to a hub facility to sell directly to the public. The Aryan Hate Brotherhood then funnels the drug profits back into the Nancy leadership. The CIA maintains its narcotics monopoly by developing extensive bribery networks, constantly laundering drug money while it legally prosecutes competitors, thereby maintaining the illusion of a functioning American justice system. Amen. Dude, look at these frickin' drones. Look at these things. These are seen all over. Look. Dude, this shit is real. We can make these. Oh my gosh. I asked Skorzeny about the Apollo moon landing. He laughed and said the U.S. had never successfully landed a man on the moon, but had only orbited the Earth. This assertion directly supports that many researchers had already exposed by analysis of moon's forged moon landing photographs. Dude, oh God. The astronauts were photographed and filmed on a giant lunar mock-up in Houston prior to their televised orbit. The use of bright spotlights to simulate sunlight is obvious when the surface of the actual moon is evenly lit by harsh sunlight, producing long parallel shadows. The above image of astronaut Aldrin is rife with lighting inconsistencies in addition to unaccounted for objects in the helmet reflections. NASA's falsified studio-produced motion films are even more disastrous special effects failures. Most Apollo astronauts were selected members of the Masonic Order cult, loyal agents of deception commemorated in the Masons of the Moon postcard series by the Masonic Stamp Club of New York. The Apollo 11 astronauts may have been hypnotically programmed with false memories of a moon landing scenario before and or after the actual space mission, which never left Earth orbit as was claimed. Yep, we freaking know that. He also claimed that Tesla left a surprise for them on the moon that has prevented all attempts at a moon landing by the US and Russia, who have not been able to figure out this surprise. He speculated that Nikola Tesla had built a fleet of disc-shaped invisible spacecraft that were protecting the moon's surface by their plasma shielding. Plasma-cloaked aerial vehicles are only invisible to the human eye, but the strong heat signature of the cloaked object is inevitably detected by infrared. By this means, it can be established that Skorzeny had incorrectly assumed Tesla to be the source of this lunar EM shielding that is actually generated by giant artificial constructions on the moon's dark side, as seen in secret NASA photographs that were retouched before public release as disinformation. Dude. I asked Skorzeny why he informed on his lifelong hate crime syndicate brothers. Were they not successful deceptive agents who enjoyed the bounty of a new world order between themselves? Otto confided that his becoming an informant on the lifelong activities of his Nancy hate group was an act of vengeance directed at revealing the true German identity of George H.W. Bush Sr. in retaliation for personally defrauding him on more than one occasion. Deceit is all-consuming and cannot be compartmentalized. Greed also knows no bounds. Agents of deception cannot be trusted by their own kind, who know better, ensuring that deceitful alliances inevitably go sour with the advance of ripe old age. While Otto describes his resentment of repeated acts of extortion by George Scherf Jr., journalist Don Nikoloff cites one particularly massive and highly contentious coordinated theft involving a $100 million gift to Skorzeny from his secret former lover, Eva Perón, inherited upon her death on July 26, 1952. Further research about the life of Otto Skorzeny, master spy, reveals his little-known affair with Evita Perón, wife of Argentina's president, Juan Domingo Perón. Gold, which was stolen by the Nazis, laundered by Swiss banks, and the Vatican, then smuggled to Argentina by Admiral Wilhelm Canaris. Dude, isn't that the dude who fucking brought Marita Lorenz? Or maybe Canaris. Canaris one of the submarine drivers? Dude, had accrued enormous interest after World War II, and upon her death, Eva Perón bequeathed Skorzeny $100 million, which ultimately fell into the hands of the CIA. The Nazi CIA connection to the money was obvious based upon Skorzeny's claims. This money probably fell into the hands of George H.W. Bush and his handlers. Oh, man. Skorzeny told of his key role with Reinhard Gehlen behind the Rockefeller and Bush family cabal in orchestrating the decades-long setup for the illegal Nazi seizure and control of the United States of America by bribing Supreme Court judges and installing fraudulent election software to rig the 2000 and 2004 U.S. presidential elections. Dude, we know that's true. Oh my God. David Rockefeller bribed a Supreme Court justice in a series of Chase Manhattan bank transfers totaling over $7.5 million, as exposed by ex-CIA physician Sue Arrigo. The Nazi stealth takeover of America allowed the CIA Mossad planning of the 9/11 events, coordinated by Vice President Cheney and Pentagon Comptroller Rabbi Dov Zakim. Oh my God. Vast libraries of incriminating CIA documents were purged in the World Trade Center demolition false flag operation. Oh man, this is craziness. According to co-founder Otto Skorzeny, the Brotherhood of Aryan Nations hate syndicate is comprised of old Nazi CIA agents, including himself, Adolf Hitler, George Scherf Jr., Martin Bormann, Reinhard Gehlen, Walter Rauff, Alois Brunner, Joseph Mengele, and August Hirt, neighbors for many years in Boynton Beach, Florida. Hirt apparently died in 2001 after Skorzeny had himself died in 1999. All of the other members of the Nazi espionage ring are still alive after being reunified in the U.S. decades ago, glorifying themselves by hate crime as the CIA coordinates their lucrative organized crime operations, including international narcotics and arms production and trafficking, child sex slave trafficking, torture, and snuff filmmaking. Before his death, Otto Skorzeny had explicitly revealed the false identities, current U.S. addresses, and telephone numbers of the Nazi Brotherhood's elite members. Oh. Adolf lived in frickin' Bethesda, Maryland. Martin Bormann. Oh my God. Dude, I'm gonna call all these people. George Scherf Sr., Prescott, George Scherf Jr. Dude, this is crazy. He became the literal president of the United States. Oh, man. Wayne, New Jersey. Bro, I'm calling all these people. Alois Brunner, Walter Wraith, North Carolina, Connecticut, Boynton Beach, Joseph Mengele. This is too much. Ralph, Mengele, Bormann, Brunner, Skorzeny, Gehlen. Look, it's all of them. They all survived, guys. Rare 1942 photo above shows Schmittler with personal guard and Special Agent Otto Skorzeny just months before Schmittler ordered the murder of Nikola Tesla by Skorzeny and Gehlen, as orchestrated by George Scherf Jr. at the OSS. One of Adolf's most trusted agents, Skorzeny would later betray the trust in his final years of both of their lives. Contradicting the mountain of CIA written false histories, Otto Skorzeny gave his personal first-hand account on the final events of World War II, including the revelation that Schmittler did not commit suicide. As the Russian tanks were overtaking Berlin, Skorzeny executed one of Hitler's doubles in an attempt to fake Hitler's suicide before going into hiding. Schmittler's personal SS Nancy pilot, Hanna Reich, flew a Feisler 156C Storch disguised as a Red Cross plane. Oh, man. And this is apparently Schmittler's ear. That's all we have of him, I think. But this is supposed to be his ear. And it does look pretty mangled, and apparently his ear was mangled, so. It looks like big, like frickin' Paul Weissopel's too. Look how big that ear is. And look at how big those big old frickin' honkers are right there. Woo! That's a big old ear. Dude, why didn't you just shoot it a little over, please? This photograph was taken at MacDonald Lodge in Glacier National Park on August 27, 1997. Clearly seen at his right is Otto himself, alias Big Ed, standing with a cane next to his longtime wife Frances. Skorzeny emphasized that the sunburned man wearing a hat partially cropped out of the left is in fact Adolf Hitler at the age of 107. Skorzeny also confirmed that this was the only existing photograph of Schmittler since the faked 1945 suicide. Hitler has a deformed ear that has been surgically altered, as well as 2 round crater indentations above one another on his left cheek, as seen in the 1997. Dude, this is cool. The seated man's very narrow shoulders and short neck also support Skorzeny's statements. Having been a personal bodyguard and Schmittler's elite special agent who safeguarded the flight of both Mussolini and Hitler from their countries on separate occasions in the aftermath, Skorzeny's personal testimony and photographic evidence must be brought to bear. Skorzeny named Bethesda, Maryland as the location of Adolf Hitler's residence in the U.S., in addition to living in secure U.S. military bases and underground Nazi CIA facilities. Further evidence corroborating Skorzeny's assertions that has surfaced not far from the Bethesda area during investigations of a corporate torture case in Monaco, Pennsylvania, involving the mind control torture of numerous employees. Among those torture victims are 2 individuals, likely twins, who may be the children of Schmittler. Employees at the Arco plant in Monaco, PA, his clients Jerry L. Doty and Ann White were victims of apparent radiation exposure, but as Mr. Rosenbaum probed deeper in the subsequent interview sessions, a Pandora's box was unveiled. His most astonishing conclusion was that Jerry Doty and Ann White were likely the offspring of Schmittler, based in part on the uncanny resemblance from photos. Facial features, bone structure, and the size were taken into consideration. Rosenbaum often states they both exhibit feelings and experiences that indicate they are twins. Doty and White were allegedly subjected to torture of many kinds while under drug-induced hypnosis, with each one undergoing at least 3 training techniques by plant physicians. Each victim was trained to enter into a hypnotic state upon the occurrence of specific stimuli, usually involving a keyword or phrase, and trained to remember to forget what transpired in the hypnotic state. They were repeatedly subjected to identical stimuli response sequence to produce nearly automatic reactions to the particular status. MK Ultra veterans Dr. Bernard Diamond, Dr. Martin Orn, and Dr. Joseph Mengele were regularly visited the Arco plant. According to Rosenbaum, the special conditioning of Doty and White was intended for the artificial creation of dual English and German personalities. Rosenbaum, who is Jewish, has maintained a deep friendship with the 2 despite the seemingly precarious circumstances. The serial torture and enslavement described by former Arco employees is exactly corroborated by the accounts of Otto Skorzeny, who himself was one of Schmittler's elite youth espionage corps that installed the network of corporate cover positions for Nazi mind control research to be directly continued where it left off from the Third Reich's death camps. The regimented use of fear, trauma, electric shock, and hypnosis in mind control programming has been institutionalized by men who are themselves victims of horrid abuse. In Adolf Hitler's case, by his father at Loire, Joseph Mengele at left, with wife and child, was employed for years using the false American alias Stephen Rebel, a laboratory technician for CIA front companies including Arco and W.R. Grace Company. The pervasive network of Nazi CIA torture operations extends well below ground in likely hundreds of giant subterranean facilities. These various rock-hewn complexes house advanced technologies engineered from prototypes stolen from Dr. Tesla after Skorzeny had taken his life by asphyxiation. There we go, boys. We've finished chapter 2. Let's frickin' go. Let's go. Next stop, the Oracle. Oh, brother, I want it to end. Okay, well, guys, this is 100% true. We need to deeply look into all this. We need to look into those people, Ann White and Doty whatever, Schmittler's kids, Bethesda, Maryland. What's going on there? Y'all, you need to stop. Otto Skorzeny, I appreciate you, honestly. I wish that your compatriots would have also had a soul. I wish you would have done this yourself, because Eric O'Ryan unfortunately, it's really hard to get people to believe this stuff, especially when the CIA is your competition, you know? I'm starting to realize this. Like, they can just shut you up. So it would have been much better coming from Otto Skorzeny and like on the news or something. He should have told everyone. And dude, it's so funny that he's doing it because George H.W. Bush pissed him the F off. Whoo, man. Okay, well, the Oracle is next. CIA, the Oracle. Yikes.